What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo. And for a long time now, a lot of us YouTubers, especially myself, have complained about characters with damage accumulation because of their inconsistencies and World Boss Legend. It makes them really difficult to play with, especially a character like Cersei, a character that I absolutely love, a character that I have a tremendous amount in. She's ranked 217. I mean, I got my girl built up super well. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what, 9 Odin's blessings, and then we have mythic energy attackers. I got a lot of love in this girl. Fully awakened Power Ranger Yogg set. She has a mythic uniform. She has a CTP of energy, which I am seriously considering putting the mighty CTP of destruction on her, because I feel like this would actually be a better choice for Cersei because of her PvP potential, as long as you have her artifact. This artifact really is nice, and it really does help her, especially in War Boss. So what I'm going to do today is actually show you guys that it's actually not near as difficult to accumulate damage in World Boss as you may think, at least against Knull. Against Mephisto, it's actually pretty easy to accumulate damage because Mephisto does a lot of chip damage. He has a lot of ignore iframes. And anytime there's purple skills on the ground, those things do ignore iframes. So that is something to keep in mind. So if you are in an iframe and you have a damage accumulation up, whenever those purple skills are coming up from the bottom of the screen or from the ground, you actually do take damage while you're in those iframes, but you will take a lot of damage, especially depending on how high you are in World Boss. But against Knull, he does actually have some set patterns, especially early on. The first part of the phase is actually, well, actually his first phase is where it's really the most difficult to actually take damage. But I'm going to show you guys that you can consistently take damage with a character like Cersei against Knull. It's actually pretty simple. Okay, so due to technical difficulties, we have to do this again, unfortunately. But in the beginning of the fight against Knull, he's going to slam his Necro Sword down twice. You want to avoid both of these attacks because they really aren't going to do that much damage to you. Therefore, you're not going to deal that much damage back. But the third attack that he does will deal an insane amount of damage. And it's actually very easy to accumulate damage whenever he does it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So you want to run to the back of the screen to avoid the first attack. He's going to do a lot of AoE here. And then you want to run into the center of the purple circle, right? Now, he's going to do an attack where he can send out an attack that does a tremendous amount of damage. And look at the accumulation that we got there. We just did an insane bars and bars of damage because we actually accumulated damage. The trick to playing against Knull when it comes to accumulated damage is knowing when he's going to do these attacks. So right now you already know 2 attacks with the Necro Sword slamming down, and then he'll do this attack. So you always know that you can accumulate damage at this time. The next thing you want to do is you just want to repeat the process as far as run to the back of the screen and then running into the little purple circle. So we're going to do it again. Slam your sword down. There we go. Run into the little purple screen. Now we want to watch what he does. If he's going to slam the Necro Sword down, we run out of the red ring. Let's see if he does it again. So we're going to go 3, 5, 4 because he actually slammed the tentacle down. Every time he raises his arm up, he's going to slam the tentacle down. So we're going to run out of the red ring. And then we do 3 awaken skill 5, 4. And look at that, right? And I'm doing this off the cuff, right? He's not going to do the exact same movements all the time. So you have to pay attention to what Knull is doing. I mean, whenever he raises his arm up in the air, that's when he will slam that tentacle down, or there's going to be a little purple blodge on the ground. Now, whenever that purple blodge is on the ground, at least that's what I'm calling a little purple circle on the ground, that thing can ignore iframes, so you can still accumulate damage while you're in an iframe. And unfortunately, a lot of characters will die from it because it does so much damage. Cersei is an exception because she's got a nice decreased damage received, a big heal, so she can actually tank that thing. Now, what we're going to do now is we're actually just going to sit in front of Knull most of the time just to see what he does, right? And we're just going to try to counter what he does. So I'm going to run up to him. Okay, he slams the Necro Sword down. Do the 3, 5, 4, right? Okay. And again, we just want to see what he does. There we go. And booyah, right? And that's pretty much what you got to do, right? I mean, I had to focus a little bit to make sure I don't miss it because it's difficult to talk and do this all at the same time. But every time he raised his arm, I mean, if I would have timed that right a second ago, whenever that purple blob showed up, I could have took enough damage probably to put him in the next phase. The most difficult thing about facing Knull is the first phase. After that, it's not as bad because he's always going to be doing frontal attacks and coming towards you, and you can actually take damage a lot easier and then points in the fight. And a little tidbit about Cersei is if you do 5, 3, 4 when her awaken skill is on cooldown, it'll be a lot easier to actually take damage from her. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So 5, 3, 4, and look at that. Not too shabby, my friends, not too shabby. Okay, so we want to run away here. Whenever her awaken skill is ready, it's always good to go 3, awaken skill, 5, 4. Excuse me there, I got something in my throat. And booyah, look at that. Into the next phase, right? Now you can do this a couple different ways. You can run around, let your awaken skill get ready, or you can just go 5, 3, 4. Now my proc triggered way late, so we're gonna let that proc kind of finish out a little bit. There we go, there we go. That's what you want to see. That's the kind of damage you want to see right there. All right. So now we're going to run around a little bit here. Now notice I got full life, right? We have a full amount of life. Now hopefully we don't get hit when Knull jumps at us here. I'm going to run around. Okay, so he did hit us. Normally I would try to take damage during those purple attacks, but because he hit us, we probably would die. And booyah, here we go, here we go. Perfect. We're trying to be careful of the tornadoes, even though we do have a debuff. Okay, we're going to go ahead and switch our character here. And we're actually going to switch to Wave. There we go. Now the thing here that really sucks is, you really got to accumulate damage so that way you can deal a lot more damage. And I don't really want to use my awakened skill. So it can be a little tasking trying to get the accumulation as much as you want. Right? I don't want to use... There we go. Perfect. Now let's see how much life we got. So we pretty much have full life. And booyah, look at that, right? That's exactly how you want to do it. I mean, whenever you're playing with Cersei, if you don't take damage during that moment in the fight, she won't do enough damage in the next part of the phase, because whenever Knull does that, that's when you really want to accumulate damage. Now, not every character can actually tank something like that at stage 29. Cersei's an exception. She's just very tanky. But this video is really to show you guys, when you really need to be accumulating damage. Whenever you see those purple attacks, if your character's tanky enough, you can accumulate damage. If not, like for example, when you just saw me playing Cersei, I actually didn't try to accumulate damage during some of those purple attacks. Like in the third phase, because I knew I'd probably die. She just, whenever she's only got like half life, she probably would have died. But with full life there at the end, you saw that we were able to actually get the clear, because her damage is absolutely insane as long as you can accumulate damage. So I just wanted to kind of do a run through as far as accumulate damage against Knull, because I've complained a lot of times about characters that have damage accumulation based on damage you take and how inconsistent they are. But really, if you know how to play these characters, they're actually very consistent. It really depends on them. Like, some characters like War Machine, his third skill, like it sets off the proc very early. So it's a little bit different. But with Cersei, you can actually always end up on your fourth skill where she's not in an iframe. And as long as you can cancel the skills really fast and you time those things, you can actually do very well with this character. And really against Mephisto, it's pretty easy accumulating damage again because of the chip damage, because they ignore iframes. It's just really easy to accumulate damage against Mephisto. But against Knull, it takes a lot of practice. But as you all saw, you know, whenever you know when Knull's going to be doing certain attacks, you can actually do extremely well, especially with a character like Cersei. So let me know if this video helped any of you out there, and I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link is in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, y'all. Take care and have a good one. See ya.